Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. We're going to dissect the club changes from Collin Morikawa that led to his Open victory this week.
Yeah, some extremely well-timed, well-thought-out club changes.
I think, before we get into the changes, I think that shows the value of coming and playing links golf the week prior to the Open.
The turf conditions are completely different.
Yeah, he was able to figure out what he needed to figure out prior to, which some of the guys who were back playing the John Deere would not have had the opportunity. Different turf conditions, not having to flight the ball the same way. Somebody who's so in tune with the feel of his game and his swing, he had to go through that process.
I agree.
I know some people who actually walked with him on Friday and Saturday at the Renaissance Club
That's the
for the Scottish Open.
Yep.
Said his game was he was a bit kind of shaky. Looked like he's low in confidence. He was kind of struggling a little bit, and obviously now we know why.
Yeah, because for him, he's being basically the best iron player for the last year or so.
Yeah.
If he wasn't hitting crisp short irons the way he's used to, I would imagine that would just rattle your bones and be like, what is wrong with me this week?
Yeah, I mean, for the people out there that follow F1, if something isn't quite right on Lewis Hamilton's car, he cannot function at the high level he needs to be the best driver in that race. Even though he probably is the best, probably the best technically, if there's something off in his vehicle, he cannot be the best that particular race. And that's clearly the same way with these golfers and their skill level. If their equipment isn't quite tuned in quite right, they're not going to be able to perform the way they need to.
Distance control being so important on the PGA Tour, and spin rates and the launch angle, the windows they hit the ball and that are also consistent. He was seeing that change on the firmer turf, and that's where the conversation started is, okay, well, why is that happening with my short irons?
Exactly. So the first bit of feedback that he got was something doesn't feel right. So you're obviously when the turf is so firm, you get so much more feedback. And then the feedback he was getting is something isn't quite right. Something is through the turf. He was kind of feeling like there was a little bit of kind of a clumsy strike.
This is specifically the 7, 8, and 9 iron that he was noticing the difference. He's got the P7 MC in the 6 and 5.
Yep.
And I don't think he was noticing an issue, and who knows why. Maybe the P730 pitching wedge has a custom grind. He wasn't addressing that. But it was those 3 irons that he was playing. This is the MB, the new MB, but for visual purposes, the 730 was the bladed iron that he was using, and those are the ones he was striking and going, this is not quite there.
Exactly. So addressing the sole design specifically, Matty, one of the things that kind of came out, and Adrian, who is the tour rep at TaylorMade, who deals with Collin and all his gear, he had kind of given us some specifics on why the MC was so much better for him. So compared to the 730, the MC has a sharper leading edge.
Interesting. And
it has slightly less bounce.
You can even see it, and this is the new MB, but you can see that less bounce. It seems very flat at the it's kind of the center of the sole.
Exactly.
And there is a little bit of relief towards the back of the club there.
Yeah, something really we only ever really talk about when it comes to wedges is kind of trail edge relief.
Interesting.
But the effectiveness of that is going to come out as a narrower sole.
Right.
So even though it is the MC and it does have perimeter weighting, it has the effect of having a narrower sole. So through the turf it's going to be a little bit cleaner and the exit. And really when it comes to tour fitting and irons, that's what it's all about. They want to really experience that turf interaction, get it in and out as clean as they possibly can.
So that extremely firm turf, we can sort of theorize his blade irons, ironically, were actually sort of a little bit of sort of a bouncy sort of strike.
Absolutely.
And a sharper tool, something with less bounce, sharper leading edge, and a narrower sole is actually something that gave him a much cleaner hit.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Just gave him the ability to make the contact, as precise as he needed it to be. And
very interesting.
For the best player in the world, the best iron player in the world, that is everything to him. That's his competitive advantage. It's like Jordan Spieth losing the putter. It's like Rory McIlroy now that he has been struggling with the driver. You see what happens to these players in their game.
Yeah.
Each of them have their strong suit, their superpower, and for Collin, it's obviously his iron play. For him to lose a little bit of that, he needed to get that back to be the player he was this week.
That's really cool. I think initially I saw a lot of people just kind of bantering about it, and they thought, well, maybe he wants a bit more forgiveness, because people see the MC, it's a cavity. People see a blade, and they say it's a blade. Oh, maybe he wanted more forgiveness. Yes, but not forgiveness in terms of mishits, which he doesn't really do.
I know.
It's more towards the sole forgiveness and the type of turf that he was playing versus what he normally would.
Very interesting. So we're going to hit a few.
Yeah, let's hit a few.
We're going to hit a couple and maybe see if we see a little bit of that. When you're striking the Matty, hit the blade, the MB.
Yes.
Flip over into the MC and let's see what we see, whether it's turf interaction, whether it's workability.
Absolutely.
Let's see what we see.
Let's check it out.
Okay. All right, Matty boy, we're going to get you to channel your inner Morikawa.
Do my best.
Little bit of see if we can work a bit of that shape in there.
A little bit of a fade.
See if we can see the fade. We've got you an X100, which is what Collin plays.
Yes, sir.
So let's have a little look and see what we can see.
Okay.
Very nice.
Got a little bit of shape to it. Similar. Hit that a little better though.
That's a nice strike.
It's hit nicely.
That's a beauty. That is a beauty.
Little bit of a fade. Yeah.
Love that.
Oh, it felt really nice. I think that's the cleanest strike I've had since we started the video.
Such a different ball flight, Matty.
It really is.
So much stronger with the MC.
Look, I'm catching, I'm getting a little bit, maybe a groove higher on the iron.
Yeah, obviously the loft is a degree different.
So it's a bit
there's
stronger.
A small difference there. So that for you will equate to about 250 RPM per degree of loft. Should equate to probably around 3 to 4 yards.
Makes sense.
So nice.
Yeah, this definitely feels nice. Feels nice through the grass here.
Very good.
It's good too. Just kind of a straight one. Yeah, I think I'm getting it through the ground much cleaner. I didn't really feel much. I think I had a couple shots with the MB that I think they flew the distance, but they didn't feel well hit. They felt a bit heavy.
Yeah.
And this just feels like I'm getting a little bit cleaner strike, which is what's showing up in the numbers. The ball speed would show that, I guess, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely. So, as a matchup for your swing type, the MC is much better. You were spinning the blade a little bit more, but two parts to that. One is the slightly open face that we had going on. The face was a degree more open.
Fair.
And the other part was the degree of loft indifference.
Of course, yeah.
So that's the main difference between those. Delivery-wise, very, very similar. Love that dynamically you were basically had them both coming through perfectly level to the ground.
Nice.
Really, really nice. So yeah, you were just having a much easier time with the MC, and that's the reason the rest of us play cavity back irons.
Interesting, eh?
Yeah.
Very clear cut there, isn't it?
It is, and you are in everyone's eyes watching this video as premium a striker as most people have access to before playing with people who do it for a living, right? So they would look at you and go, why does Matt play T100s? Why does he use those game improvement cavities with tungsten and all those things? Because it's a lot easier to hit the shots you're trying to play when you have some help.
It's just such an advantage even in a variety of different situations. And I think the number of situations where I would go, oh, I wish I had a blade.
Yeah.
I don't know when that would be.
Oh, absolutely not.
I might go a whole year and never say that.
And this is why we're having subcategories emerge, because this is a cavity back with a subcategory of a sole design.
Yes.
Right, so you've got, if you need a cavity back, player's cavity, but you need a sole to be a little bit thinner, you need certain things, you might go towards this. You might look for a pre-worn leading edge, you might look for these, a V-sole and a Strixon.
True.
There's so many options within one category now, and that's just the beauty of having every every brand at your disposal. One of the reasons we love that we're brand agnostic is we are not going down one path of one design, and if someone walks in and it doesn't work for them, doesn't fit them, then we're not snookered.
Yeah, because within one brand of irons, you wouldn't be able to fit a sole to every player within the same category of club.
TaylorMade doesn't have a pre-worn leading edge in any of their irons.
Or a V-sole or something.
Or V-sole or any of those sorts of things, but they have something that works very well for a lot of players.
And I've not seen too many companies with a sole quite as unique as this one.
Definitely not.
It's really quite nice. I can see why he made that change, absolutely. I mean, this is a pretty firm hitting surface, and I think when I hit the blades, if anything, if they did start to dig in there a little bit, or if I did feel the turf, I was kind of hitting the spinny one they came up short in. Who knows what Collin's experience was? Probably something different. He might have been bouncing into them. But regardless, I can see how this just had a quicker, like you always say, quicker in, quicker out feel in terms of grass. And I think that's why I got a little more speed and confidence out of it.
I loved that. I think it was golf.com where I read about the Adrian's fit with Collin and how it all worked. And I loved so much about that article. One, that when Collin called to say he had an issue with his irons, Adrian didn't call him back straight away. Really? He didn't try and give him an answer that was based on, what popped into his head. He went away and thought about it, tried to kind of understand what's going on in his head. That's a sign of a really, really good fitter. Somebody who has the kind of wherewithal not to react. One of the best players in the world has phoned to say they have a problem leading into one of the biggest weeks of their life. First ever Open Championship, can't get the club through the turf the right way, their tools aren't working. It would be so easy for somebody to go, it's this or it's that. He's went away and thought about it. Then when they got together, he said the giveaway was the acoustics. It was the sound of the strike wasn't quite right. It wasn't as crisp. It wasn't the feedback he's normally used to hearing. And then obviously they made the right changes based on the geometry of the sole.
That's really interesting. It's true to have the restraint to think about it and then come up with the correct solution in person, obviously. It's a great story. One of the more techie kind of little inside stories of a major that I've probably ever heard of.
I know, and I love that people are now, their eyes are open to these things that make the world a difference, and we live that life day in, day out, and hear that little subtle things here and there can unlock this performance that really brings the best out in a player.
Definitely.
And that's Collin's experience, and that can be your experience.
That's true.
For anyone else out there who has the same access to all these different clubs.
Very cool.
Good. Okay, guys, thought that was a cool little story, and we do like to dissect these things and try and explain them. My inbox on in Instagram was full of people going, "Why did he do that? What's the explanation?" So this is for you guys and for everyone else who's curious and kind of maybe still doubts a little bit what subtleties of club fitting can do for you.
Yeah, no, it was really interesting.
Good stuff. Okay, stay tuned for more, guys. We'll see you again soon.